Hello, Flat Rock students. I'm excited to share with you today about our history and geography section of the library. One thing you may not know about me, this is a fun fact. When I was in college, the first time around, I majored in history and political science. I love to read history books. So originally, I was teaching high schoolers history. Then I went back to school and I got my master's degree and I started teaching elementary school as well as in the library. So I love to read books. You guys know that about me, but I especially love this section I'm talking to you about today. So let's hop right in. You can see on this sign right here where it says 900s, and I know that's tiny print, but if you ever forget, it also says history and geography. So you can read it and find it for yourself just like that. So here's our section. You notice the windows here, the plant here. Over here on this side are the doors. And over here is that orange quilt. So it's this whole section. Now we've talked about our biographies. Our biographies are the 92s. They start right here and run down here. And then our 920s are down here. Well, our 900s, our history and geography section start at this last bay right here on the top. And they go around here and down here and over here. And that's where they end because over here, remember, we've talked about is our popular series fiction books. Here's a closer up look of the exact area we're talking about. So back in here, over here, and then here on the bottom too. Are you ready to see some of these books, see what we have in history? Because I got to admit, the word history sounds a little boring when you first hear it, but when you find out what's in here, I think you're going to find something that interests you. Do you like wars? Do you like learning about the world in different places? Well, this is an area you're going to find some good stuff in if you do. All right, so it starts here with the 910s, and I have a sign here, geography and travel. Have you ever dreamed of traveling? Well, here might be some books you could find about places you might want to go, as well as some geography here on our Earth. Here's an example. Totally wacky facts about modern history, amazing facts about geography, danger on the mountain. All right, so these are true stories of some very extreme mountain climbing adventures that could have almost led to death, and true stories of survival at sea. This is history. This is true. It happened. It happened on our Earth. And this is some of the cool stuff you're going to find in this section. All right, here's an atlas of the world. Have you ever wondered where the pyramids are? Where their most giraffes and elephants live? Where the Great Wall is? Well, you're going to find this in this Where on Earth Atlas book. Hey, Great Lakes shipwrecks, some really cool shipwrecks that have happened. You know, last summer I told you at the beginning of school that I went to the Great Lakes. Some of those ships that had wrecked there had washed up onto the beach. We're talking hundreds of years old, and you could still see these massive nails that had been put in these boats because they were so well made. All right, moving right along now down to this back wall. Here's the window. We're underneath the back wall. You see this sign here that says World War II? That is just one indicator of some of the things here. That's not all that's here. There's also World War I, World War II, some European books. Let's take a look. We've got World War I, The Art of Confusion. This is a picture book. It's excellent. Very, very good. But I tell you that to say it's not a long commitment. But it talks to you about how they painted our ships during World War I to confuse the enemy so they wouldn't know if it was a ship under the water or if it was a dolphin or what it was. And it helped us save some of our ships and help win the war. All right, here's another book, World War I. It's actually a Lightbox book, and we'll talk more about that soon. And a book on World War II. Right below it is our books on all of the states. So if you are interested in any state in our country, not just South Carolina, Alaska, Hawaii, New York, Florida, California, Missouri, Nevada, any of them, they're right here. And I have them in alphabetical order. So you can say it starts right here with Alabama and it ends with Wyoming. So they're all in there, including our territories such as Puerto Rico. So if you want to read any of those, again, they're short books. Very fun and interesting to learn about different states in our country. Moving over to the right now, you can see that there are some books about the American story. All kinds of things going on in American history as well as world history. Here's some examples. The Gulf War, the Afghanistan War, and what's going on in Africa. Some of you have parents or grandparents who fought in these wars. What a great way to learn more about it by reading some of these books. Again, notice these are light box. We'll talk about that more, but what that means is there's one book in the library, but we have a digital license where everyone in the class, everyone in our school could be reading it at the same time. All right, below that on the bottom, here's some more books. The Fight for Freedom, Everybody's Revolution, talking about the Civil War and things going on again in our country, the history of what's happening. You see, this one is the 13 colonies, how we got our start. All right, Kids Make History, a new look at America's history. Jamestown. Now, if you're studying American history, you know why Jamestown is important. And just for fun, George Washington's teeth. Did you know that George Washington had a lot of issues with his teeth? He did. This is true. This is factual. But back in the day, they couldn't make teeth like they can today. Find out what he used for teeth and what he was dealing with in his mouth when he was leading our country and going to war and fighting for our freedom. Really fun stuff happened in history. All right, moving to the final section over to the right. The windows are over here and we are off to the right. Over here starts our Goosebumps popular series fiction. All right, this is where we are. So it starts here with the Civil War. Moving on from there, here's some of the books we had. The Writing of the Declaration of Independence, A Spy Called James, The Dust Bowl, and the U.S. Civil War. Here you can see some of the books down below continuing on, and we have some more on South Carolina and all of the continents in our world. Here's some books on Indians, The Mysteries of Easter Island, as well as that book on South Carolina that, again, is a light box title, so that means everybody can be reading it at the same time. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this tour of our library.